Well, we got General Robert Davenport, first name, middle name?
Is Coolidge.
Well, we've got General Robert Coolidge Davenport. How are you today, General?
I'm pretty good.
That's good. And I understand that you were in the military a little bit way back.
Yes, I started off in September of 1940 when I went to Harvard and found they had an ROTC. So I joined up and started my military career there as a cadet, because I was aware at that time that World War II was upon us and that we would be in it without undue delay.
Where did you take basic training?
I took my basic training at the cadets, with the cadets at Harvard. We didn't have a training, basic training, so to speak. We were expected to go on to a school where we would be active duty with the military for 6 months and get our training at that time. But I stayed on at school. They changed things around because the war put pressure on to get people going out. So I finished up my third and fourth years in 1 year, and then was sent to the command at Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
The artillery?
The artillery, because my cadet school was an artillery group. So that was my basic entree.
With Pearl Harbor, well, Pearl Harbor happened. Where were you?
Well, I was it was a Sunday morning, December 7th, and I was in my room at school and heard the activity on the radio that Pearl Harbor had been attacked. So my first duty was to put on my coat with my buddy, and we went out and down the street where we knew 3 Japanese students were living. Now, the Japanese students were not involved with the war. They were students who came here to get an education, and they were at home waiting for the FBI to come and pick them up, because they knew that would happen. This was Sunday afternoon, and they knew as soon as they heard that their countrymen had attacked our base at Pearl Harbor that they were in trouble. And you know, everybody in the neighborhood was leaning out the windows because they knew the Japanese students were enemy people, and they would be picked up by the jumped soon.
Well, in retrospect, do you think that we jumped the gun too much, too fast?
In what respect?
Well, we get the FBI and this and that. We were really afraid of patriotism or allegiance to Japan. What is your take on that?
Well, my take is that we were expecting to be in danger from the Japanese. We just didn't know it'd be this kind of activity. And when they attacked secretly, why, we were enraged because we thought they had done us dirty against the practice most nations have of saying, we'll declare war on you and we will start our fight soon, but you better be ready for us.
So what happened after Pearl Harbor with you? Did they activate you, and you were already activated at the time?
I was a cadet.
Oh, okay.
All right. So I wasn't officially a soldier. So after a brief period, I say brief period, was several months, they said, we're going to engage you, we're going to enlist you in the Army. Then we'll have you under our control and you won't be subject to the draft. So we all signed up, those of us who were in the Cadet Corps. There were about
Did you win with the rank of lieutenant or private?
Oh, they enlisted me as a private, E1. All the cadets were enlisted in private. When we were going to go to training at Fort Sill, we were then elevated to corporal because nobody below the rank of corporal would be sent to.
I understand, to school and all that.
Yeah. So that I was sent in March of 1944 to Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and after graduating from the Field Artillery School, I was commissioned a lieutenant and sent out to be a soldier with the 42nd Division.
Rainbow Division,
The
New York
Rainbow.
National Guard.
Yes. And I was with them for a little while, but they had a surplus of lieutenants, so I was transferred, and I went to the Field Artillery School at Fort Sill, and after being there for several months, they sent me out to do some duty at Camp Fannin in Texas, where I trained infantrymen and how to attack and under artillery fire. I had a unique experience there where one of the rounds landed a little close. In fact, it landed between me and the platoon leader. So it gave us some combat experience that wasn't really in the cards.
Baptism under fire, so to speak, huh?
Baptism of fire. So after that, they had an assignment for me in the Pacific. So I was sent to the Philippines aboard an APA, which is the Navy transport for soldiers.
All-purpose something?
It was transport, a passenger ship.
Okay.
And I had experience on an LST later on, but this was made for getting me from San Francisco to Tacloban.
That's in the Philippines? Okay.
That was the Philippines. That was where our invasion took place. I didn't have to go under fire because the General MacArthur and the soldiers had preceded me, but I followed him around the Philippines. From Leyte, I went to Cebu and had a period of time there, and then I was sent to Manila and on Luzon. And at that time, the war was coming to a close, and so they detached me from the military duties and discovered I had been trained as a chemist, so I was attached to petroleum products testing laboratories.
You majored that in Harvard then?
I majored in chemistry at Harvard. So, and I thought that was remarkable, that the Army could take me and put me in a job that I could do something with my education. But in any event, they phased out the petroleum laboratories, but since I was already associated with gasoline and fuel oils, they put me in charge of the fuel depot at Clark Field in Angeles.
Hawaii, isn't it?
The Clark Field was in Luzon.
Oh, okay. I don't know my history of geography that well.
And it was a major base in Luzon that was first attacked right after Pearl Harbor was attacked. And I had the duty and the honor of making sure that all our aircraft had proper fuel and lubricants. So
how long were you in there before you went into the United States Guard?
Well, State Guard was long after I finished my federal service.
Okay.
I ran my federal service. I took my discharge in the Philippines because I had an intention of going to China and trying to start up a chemical company in China after the war. But when we found out that Mao Zedong had no intention of keeping any foreigners in country, we sent word, explained what we wanted to do, and he sent back word, sorry, no Bakwe, white faces.
Okay,
So,
no white faces.
no white faces. So I came home and started my reserve service after I returned to the States. And I was with federal service, my 4 years of active duty in the war, and additional 33 years in the reserves.
Ancient honorable?
And I was not an ancient honorable, but I was all the way to colonel, or 06, in the federal service. And I found out at that time that state was looking for a general officer to help them with some of their reserve positions. So I volunteered to be brigade commander with the Massachusetts State Guard, now called Military Reserve. And with the State Guard, I served for 5.5 years as a brigade commander. I was promoted to brigadier, and when I was retired from the service because of age, I was promoted again to Major General, and that's the title I serve with now.
So you've been retired for 30 years then from the State Guard.
I've been no, I only had the 6 years with the State Guard, added to the 36 years with the federal service. So I had 42 years.
What was when you were at SIL, what was the favorite artillery piece that you had?
Well, the divisions carried two pieces. They carried the 155 for heavy artillery, and they carried the 105,
The howitzer.
the howitzer,
Okay.
for each brigade. So,
they had that even before, right after, before World War II.
oh yes.
Oh, okay.
But when we trained, going back to when I first got into the Cadet Corps, Harvard had French 75s for our artillery pieces, something that would give us some experience with artillery.
But it was a kind of a Mickey Mouse type of thing in a way compared to the 105?
Well, they modernized it, you know.
Oh.
They took off the wooden wheels
Okay.
and put on Martin Perry running gear, and we had horses because they were horse-drawn artillery. So it was quite a dignified corps. I used to go out on mornings before class, take out one of the mounts and exercise them for half an hour. And then, of course, afterwards I had to curry him down and dig out his mud in his hoofs and make them proper for the rest of the day.
Well, that's very interesting because some of us don't know all those little idiosyncrasies that you have to take care of the horse too, and to take the mud out of the hoofs. And you know, it brings me back to the National Guard on Commonwealth Avenue, where Boston University purchased it about 20 years ago. But they had big stalls down there, way down on the bottom, where they had the horses there then.
Oh,
right?
sure.
Because that Commonwealth Armory, I think, goes back to the Civil War, doesn't it?
No, that was a more recent construction.
Okay, I see.
But a lot of our
Facility?
armories were
Horses.
you know, had horses. And
When did the horses kind of phase out?
they
late-
didn't phase out until we actually got into the war, because they still use them for lots of things.
Okay.
So there we are. We're being accosted by attractive ladies, but that's all right.
Now, what would you say to a young high school boy or girl that's going to graduate from high school and they were interested in getting into the military? What would you say to them?
I would suggest they investigate the ROTC, because it'll give them a lots of basic understanding teach them manners, teach them some military procedures.
Pride, togetherness, yeah, working in a group.
I saw in Roxbury, which is a pretty tough neighborhood, and a member of the school committee came down and was with me at an award ceremony, and she said, you know, General, these kids take pride in themselves. They come here, they do their studies, I get better grades than the average student. They don't sass the teachers, they don't get into trouble. I'm proud to have the ROTC here at Roxbury High School.
Junior ROTC, huh?
Junior ROTC.
You know, a lot of people think that the junior ROTC is, the purpose of it is so that they will get enlistment, people that will enlist in the military. But that's not really the mission of the junior ROTC. There's no brotherhood or any type of invitation to join the military. In fact, I would say maybe very few of them will join the military even though they were in the junior ROTC in high school. That's my feeling anyway. I don't have any statistics on that, but that's what I've been hearing.
They may have, say, a school like this may have 150 students in it.
They've got 500 here.
500?
He's got 500. They've been here 21 years.
Yeah. Out of the 500, maybe 10 or 15 will go into military service.
Yeah, 1%.
But some of them will go on to college and they get into the senior ROTC, which will train them for a military position.
Yeah.
So it's
a good program too. I go to the different ROTC making presentations there at MIT and Worcester Polytech, Holy Cross, and it's a great program for them. But they get to college, and it's just. I wish I had, when I was young, I wish I had taken the opportunity to do that, but I didn't know any better at the time. That was 65, 70 years ago for me.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Okay.
So you think that the junior ROTC is a good program, and you'd say
I think it's a good program. I think it does a great thing for the students, and they get an opportunity to do a great thing for themselves and for the country.
You're proud of your service?
I'm very proud of my service.
Would you say that that was one of the most highlights of your lifetime?
It was very important to me, and I've given a lot of effort.
I notice you come to a lot of these presentations. You are recognized by many people. That's because what? How old are you now? 48 or 63?
I'm 95 years old.
95 years old. My goodness, that's gracious. What's your secret?
Just the excitement of doing something every day and getting out. And
I see you flexing your shoulders there too with excitement. Huh?
I go with these kids and I tend to stand straighter.
Well, it was very nice talking to you today.
Well, thank you.
And we're going to go again sometime. I'll see you in the future.
I look forward to it.
Okay.
Well, I think this is a remarkable opportunity for young people to get some public service under their belts, because they'll feel better about it and our country will be the better because of their service.
Thank you very much, Robert Coolidge Davenport, Major General.
Thank you, sir.
Massachusetts State Veterans?
State Guard.
Massachusetts State Guard. Okay. And let's go out and see if we can get a little bit of that hors d'oeuvres.
Yes.
Thank you very much for talking on camera.
Oh, my pleasure.